Have you ever had that voice in your head that tries to tell you that you're just being too picky, that you're probably never going to find the kind of guy that you want? And then that gets backed up by your friends or even family members saying, you're really just too picky, like you should lower what you're looking for so you can actually find a relationship. Well, who wants to do that? Who wants to get into a relationship with someone they're not really attracted to? Isn't that called settling? Settling is not what you want to do. If you think you're being too picky, you're not, and here's proof. I'm going to share with you a story right now that totally inspired me, and I hope that this story inspires you. It's about a woman named Julia. Now, Julia is 69 years old. Julia lives in a tiny town in Canada. Julia is super smart. She is a mathematician. She's an environmental scientist. And Julia has a super high level of commitment to lowering her footprint on the environment. And so she grows her own food. She warms her water with solar on her roof. She doesn't own a car. She rides her bike almost everywhere she goes. And Julia told me that she was not willing to compromise on that value, that she wanted to find a man who was also smart, who was also, she had great chemistry with, who was also super committed to the environment. Now, you might be thinking of this scenario saying, wow, like the chances that Julia is going to find a man are pretty slim if she's in a small town in Canada and she's got these requirements. And that's exactly how Julia felt. Julia told me, she was like, look, I had pretty much given up hope that I was ever going to find my guy. She goes, I wanted a relationship, but I really didn't believe in God's green earth that I was ever going to find someone who meet all those criteria. And because those criteria were super important to me, I wasn't willing to settle. And I thought, well, I might just be single the rest of my life, and that's okay. I've got a good life. Maybe a part of you has felt the same way. Maybe there's a part of you who's felt like you've grown yourself to a certain level of success. You've developed yourself with a certain level of spiritual depth. You take care of yourself, you're physically fit, and you look around and the only men who match your criteria are men who are already taken. And you have a bunch of evidence reflecting back in the world that's fueling the paradigms or the doubts in your own mind saying it's never going to happen for you. And there might be that temptation to settle. Well, I'm here to tell you, do not settle. And what I told Julia ended up coming into a coaching program with me called Manifest Your Man. And in that program, I told her, look, we live in a world that operates by universal law. One of those laws is the law of polarity, meaning everything has its opposite. For up, there's down. For in, there's out. For hot, there's cold. The very fact that you have the desire for this relationship is evidence that the possibility for that desire or the counterpoint to that desire exists. The possibility of the relationship that you want exists. And so while Julia really didn't believe it, Julia believed that I believed it. And so she said, all right, well, Matt, I believe that you believe it. I'm just going to follow the process. So Julia was going through the Manifest Your Man process. Oh, and then one more thing, Julia says, oh, and on top of that, Matt, I do Scottish line dancing. And if you want to know what really would attract me is a man in a kilt. I said, okay, hey, let's add that to the list. It's all right. Realm of possibility here. Just hold it in your mind. So she followed the process, and one day Julia was introduced to a man named Ian. Turns out that Ian is also incredibly smart. Ian just happens to be from Julia's hometown. Ian also shares a super high value on environmental values, grows his own food, has solar, rides his bikes, the same just like Julia. They started dating, and on their first date, it was a Skype date, the sparks flew. Each one of them had amazing chemistry for one another. They dated, Ian proposed, Julia said yes, and on their wedding day, Julia is walking down the aisle and sees Ian. She said she got goosebumps and almost fainted because Ian was in a kilt because he has Scottish heritage in his family. He didn't even tell her that he was going to do that. Here is a picture of Julia and Ian on their wedding day. I actually just spoke to Julia yesterday, and here's what she said of how she feels. She says, Matt, I just turned 70 years old, but I feel like I am 25 again. Now, if there's a part of you that believes or thinks, I'm too picky, it's been way too long, I'm never going to meet my man, all those guys are taken, you can't have what you want, that voice of doubt or discouragement, cast it to the side. Believe in my belief. The desire that you have for this relationship is the proof, is the evidence for the possibility of that relationship in your life. Now, if you want to follow the same system that Julia followed, I'll put a link in the description and also in this video here. I think you would love that process. And know this, that possibility for that great love story that you seek absolutely can be yours. That desire is evidence that it exists. Your man is out there right now and he is looking for you. So anytime a family member or a friend or your own mind wants to say you are too picky, you say, I am not settling. I deserve this amazing relationship and I am attracting it into my life now. And yes, you are. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you soon.